All right. Well, I'm part of the Lye family,
Yes.
so
I'm Sharon Oldham, and this is my very best friend, Emily.
Yes.
I love her. I've known her
we've
for
been
like 30
forever.
years. And
She's first one's here.
Yeah,
You are.
I'm
So
first one
of
here.
course you are. And
I'd like to say very condolences to the family. I love both your parents very much, especially your dad, because I learned a lot of your dad as a
yes,
kid.
and yeah, and your texts were so fabulous through all of this.
Yes, and yeah, I don't want to keep doing this.
Yeah. Exactly. So that's it.
Thank you.
Lori, this is Sharon.
Sharon,
Lori,
nice to meet you.
nice to meet you. You didn't plan this.
Hello,
Perfect. Well, there's
it's
already-
Daralyn Joy Steele. I'm going to change my middle name to Daralyn Lye Steele, just saying.
You think so?
We love you,
Oh,
Mom.
I don't think so. No, I don't.
I'm Rory McDonald, and I'm at the Jonni Lye Celebration of Life. And I'm so happy to be here celebrating Daralyn and Brett's and Emmy's mom. And I've known Jonni my whole life. I didn't see much of her over the last many years, but we were on the island having kids and doing masquerades and something fun. I always remember being so excited when the Lyes were coming to town and spending time for on the Ward's Island for Gallaudet weekend. It's my favorite favorite weekend of the whole year. So, and I was told Jonni this. When I was a little girl, I always thought she was so beautiful, and I always thought she was a movie star. When I was a kid, I didn't know what she was, but I thought she was a movie star, and I always in complete awe of her. So, happy to celebrate her life here with all her family, and I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah, I'm not telling the illegitimate.
Right in front of the camera. Right in front. Say hi to the camera.
Hi, camera.
Hello. This is me.
I said to say hi to the camera. I said, hey, Barb Stevens.
Your best friends with Daralyn.
Yeah, friend of Daralyn's, a Hummer, a true Hummer. Did you go back to the hotel last night?
Hello. This is me.
That's not too bad.
I had a book.
This is I'm assuming this is a recording for Jonni. Jonni, we miss you. It's good to see everyone here, obviously. Whoever is going to see this, thanks for making it out. We love you all, and should make for an excellent day.
Okay. Yeah.
See you guys later.
So we're doing a virtual guest book here. So say hello and who you are.
Cool.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Brett, Johnny's son. Johnny's one and only son, by the way, and proud of it.
Hi, Heather here. Pinecrest, 20 years.
Thank you, Heather.
Hi, Amanda.
Hello.
How are you?
Hello.
Gosh, sort of. Where's Bob?
I'm so sorry that we just haven't. Why? I don't know. Oh my God. It's so, yeah, I know. I mean, it's so, oh my God. You big man, you. How wonderful. Thank you so much for coming, you guys. Thank you so much.
Good. I'm good. We're having a tough time.
Once and then it's like.
But my mom was till the end.
I didn't recognize you. Sorry. From the island.
Thank you for coming, you guys.
Yeah.
You guys want to say hi? This is like a virtual guest book. We're recording everything and say hello. Yeah, say hey. Say who you are. Hello.
Jason Sonia here.
All the way from Toronto. I'm going to do your brain.
Yeah. Made it though.
Yeah.
5 pounds more.
No, you do.
Yeah, book.
What is it? What is it?
Our virtual guest book. So say hello. We're recording everybody coming in and say hello to the family.
I can't see myself because I'm blind.
I can't see you. You're right there. Say hello.
Hello, we're here.
How are you doing? Oh my God, it's you. I can't believe it. Yeah. Is this your daughter? Yeah. I know it.
What'd you do with your umbrella?
I know.
You didn't recognize it? Wait until I spoke.
Chloe McDonald.
Yes, Lori, I did recognize you.
Okay. Yeah, it's going well. You don't need their bra.
And Lori.
It's nice to see you.
Yeah. This is our little guest book. Just want to say who you are and say hi to the family. So we're just recording.
Hi, family. I'm Janice. Libby Nee Bowman. I've known Jacklyn Lye since I was maybe 11 years old, and just sending fond memories. I know she's at her eternal home now in heaven, and she's with her family that's gone ahead of her. So let's be joyful for that.
Hello. I want to say hello to the family in our little virtual guest book here. Just say your name and say, hey. Say hi.
My name is Leonard Weeby. I'm here with my wife, Janice Weeby, and we're sorry to hear what happened. We're here to celebrate your life.
Hi. It's me again.
Stand up.
And my hairline.
It's already on. Yeah, say hi and please.
Hi, Sophie. Yeah. Hi, family. Thanks for joining us. Yeah.
Guest book. Hello.
Hello.
Say hi to family and send a little message and recording everything here. So.
Hi, it's Meredith and Amanda. We're really sorry about the loss of Jonni. We're really gonna miss her. But I'm glad that she got to go on her terms, and I'm sure she's singing and dancing and having a great time up in the big sky. Love you guys.
She was a great lady and she'll be greatly missed.
Love you guys lots.
All right. I'm Dale. I worked with Daralyn at Pinecrest. Do you want me to say any more than that?
Say what you want. Yeah.
It's just nice to see all the family here. Thanks.
You want to say hello? Say hi to the family and
Hello to the family.
Hi, family.
and say
We're in Joseph.
who you are. And
They knew who we are.
no, I know. We just recorded it for. I'm just doing one memory thing together.
Okay. Done.
I'm the better half here, so.
Hi guys, sad to be here, but happy to be here all at the same time. Take care.
People have to say hello to grandma or whatever.
Hey, how you doing? Nice to see you. Thanks for coming. What's this?
This is our little virtual guest book. So we're recording everything.
Awesome.
Say what's recording everything again. No, you just actually have to.
Setting up the Zoom.
It's our.
Nope.
It's recording it.
I gotcha.
Just say hello.
Hello. Oh, handsome. You look good. I am always looking good on set.
I don't know what it's called.
Something must have changed it. I don't know that one.
Hey everybody, it's me, Jack. We're the best grandson of Jacklyn. Number one. Yeah.
And,
Yeah, thanks for tuning in.
who are we? Who's on the other end here?
It's the Zoom call, so I'm just recording everybody
Oh,
coming
you're
in.
okay.
And
Gotcha.
then we're going to record the speeches. I'm going to edit it all together as a nice little family memento of the speeches, and they'll be coming in and saying hello.
That's fantastic.
And that'd be nice rather than just sign it up.
Awesome.
Capture people's face.
Very cool.
Eric Petzold and Melissa McFarland. This video. Yeah, it's kind of yeah, long time friends.
Yeah, Melissa McFarland, Eric's wife. I know.
Hi, I'm Janet Hawkins. I'm a friend of Emily's.
That's cool. Wait, now I'm scared. I don't know what to say.
Do a little song and a dance.
Okay,
don't know what to
maybe we'll
say.
think of something to say and then we'll come back.
Yes. All right. Okay, let's think of what to say. 3, 2, 1. Hey. We are currently at Jonni Lye's celebration of life.
We were the favorite grandchildren. I mean, great grandchildren.
Yeah. We are having a really good time.
We're living it up.
We're living it up. Yeah, anyway.
Talk later.
Yep. We'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye. We're gonna catch up with a couple of people.
You know the drill.
You know. Bye. Bye.
Hi again. Oh. Very cool.
Hello. Can I say just talk into it? Yeah. Hi, I'm Peter Mundy.
Hi, it's Willie Dunn, and I'm glad I'm here and seeing a whole bunch of people I haven't seen in a long time.
Hi, Michael Brown, old friend of Emily's.
Yeah.
Will do.
So, hi, Lye family. Janet Cowan here. Sort of sad, but wanted to say hi to everybody. I love
It's Dave Mundy here. Hi, everybody. Good to see you all, and God bless Jonni.
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah, that did it. I didn't even have to whistle through my teeth. Wait a minute. Can everybody hear me? Okay. I didn't memorize it. I'm going to read the whole thing. Thank you for coming, everybody. At 21, my mom married her soulmate, and she gave birth to me 9 months, less a week later. She said she did not conceive before they got married because my dad was working in Ottawa and they did not meet up again until the wedding in Toronto. She said it was the drinking and the red nightgown that she wore on her honeymoon that did it. Our mom comes from a small family, and her favorite childhood memories were going to her grandparents, the Kings, big 3-story home at 40 Kenneth Avenue in Toronto. In later life, she took a university writing course and wrote about the shenanigans she and her older sister would get into there. She was a terrific story and poetry writer. She lost her mom and dad in her 20s, and she lost her cherished daughter, Jennifer, in her 30s, who was just 2.5 years young. Our mom was not expected to live through the night after the accident in 1963, but she willed herself to draw on all the strength she had left. The stories that followed the car accident are too numerous to tell, but I'll share one at the end of my eulogy. I came home from school all my years at Broadview and Nepean High School every day to mom and lunch. For the most part, she was an at-home mom who enjoyed hosting endless cocktail, dinner, and special occasion parties and having company stay all the time. As we got older, we enjoyed the parties too. She got up at the crack of dawn and got to her work, perhaps so that she could relax with the women on the street and enjoy a few sherries. My mom, the organizer, always seated spouses apart and made sure for the games that she teamed people up who might not know each other well. Among other things, she certainly could have been an amazing events planner. My family often has referred to me as Junior Jonni, a title I am proud to inherit. I can't possibly fill her shoes, nor could I even try. When I was around 18 and my mom was a mere 39, we would take the train to Montreal to shop and stay at the Queenie Hotel. On one trip, while we were in a bar, the Montreal Alouette football team tried to pick us up. They wouldn't believe how old she was, so she took out her driver's license to prove it. She is a survivor and has lived a long, happy, productive life, leaving a legacy of 4 children, 9 grandchildren, 11 great-grandchildren, and 1 great-grandchild. Whenever I asked my mom if she could look after my kids, she always said yes. So my boys spent many, many sleepovers with their grandparents. Josh, Ben, Zach, Chelsea, Chase, Jack, Sophie, Jim, Tim, Ella, Cooper, Lucas, Logan, Isla, Katie, Megan, Emma, Alex, Dax, Mason, and Jackson. You are so lucky to have had Grandma Lye in your life. My mom was kind, compassionate, loving, brave, had a positive outlook, but above all, an amazing sense of humor. Without this amazing personality, getting past the many tragedies in her life would not have been possible. And I'm going to read you something that she wrote in her own handwriting. That's okay, I've read it. And she kept, I don't think this was part of her writing course, but it kind of sums up her personality. And before I read it, I want to say everyone is welcome to come back to my house, and the address and my cell phone number are by the guest book. So please take a chit with you and come to my house. This is what my mother wrote, and it was after the accident, but sometime later. One day, the assistant curate from our church came on his initial visit to see us. There I was, lying in the bed in various casts with a punctured lung, other internal injuries, and a smashed-in face. I was also in deep bereavement over our daughter, Jennifer, who had died in the accident. He couldn't hide his reaction at first sight of me, and I knew he was very uncomfortable. When he reached my bedside, he made the usual polite inquiries. I asked about his wife, whom I had met at church functions. He started to answer, fine, etc., when all at once he hesitated, then blurted out all the sorry details of the sad state of his marriage. He went on and on. I attempted to counsel him with possible reasons for the strange actions of his wife that he had described to me. I think I might even have helped him a little. He said a short prayer and departed. The total absurdity of the situation hit me. Wasn't he supposed to be giving solace to me? I was chuckling when the nurse walked in. Boy, he sure cheered you up, he said. And in a strange way, he had. That kind of sums up what she was like, and how she made that person feel so much better. Well, guess what? He wasn't doing his job. That's it for me.
So a couple of weeks ago, one of my hearing aids just kind of conked out a bit. It just wasn't working properly enough. And then I realized that my mom has hearing aids that she wasn't going to be needing. Long story short, I got the hearing aids and I've had them in for a couple of days. It's funny because when I first put them in, they seemed okay in that, and then they started to squawk a little bit. Because Daryl could hear them. It's kind of squawking a bit, and I said, "Did this happen to Mom?" She said, "No." Anyway, maybe it was her trying to get through or something. Who knows? Actually, hang on. No, it's Mom. Hold on. It's my mom, and she has a question. She wants to know about the planning and the organizing and how everything went for the celebration. Well, Mom, it was great, but Emmy and Dare were slacking off a lot, and I had to do a lot of the work and the heavy lifting.
Piss off.
Mom's laughing right now because she knows darn well that wasn't the case. No, actually, Mom, they did an amazing job. They were unbelievable. You would have been proud of for the work that they did and what they've done. What's that? One more question? No, we didn't spend a lot on your. In fact, we got the engraving on the urn for free.
Whoa.
So I remember when we were having our family Christmas dinners, special occasions or whatever. And on more than one occasion, my dad would propose a toast to my mom. And he would say, "She's the glue that holds this family together." And he was right about that. She was very independent. She was strong, always put the family first. And she was also incredibly courageous. For her to just survive the car accident in itself was a miracle. But to come back and then, seamlessly resume her role as the leader of our family, and then had another child, and then kept everything together with our family life. I mean, that was truly amazing. She was so strong, actually. Even when she had a stroke a few years back, she just basically shrugged that one off and was like, "You're going to have to pack a bigger punch than that to knock me down." And Mom was the best homemaker ever. We could come home for lunch every day from school if we wanted to, because we brought you in the piano, and it was great. Mom was there. But for the days that I would stay at school for lunch, Mom had a plan for that. She would make a bunch of peanut butter and jam sandwiches and put them in the freezer. So it was perfect because if I just grab my lunch out of the freezer, grab a bag, and grab some chocolate milk at the cafeteria, and I was happy. I was happy. I was a happy camper. And in those days, they had the peanut butter and jam in one jar. It was like the swirl. I don't have to tell you that my mom was a great organizer and planner. We had a file drawer in our house, and under M was money. That's where she would put money in there, like a whole bunch of 20s and stuff. Okay, so now you're wondering if I ever took any money on it, right? Okay, all right. All right, maybe 120, or, okay, maybe 2, but it was always an emergency situation when I had to do that. Actually, I'll always wonder if my mom, if she didn't intentionally do that, and just hope that we wouldn't abuse the privilege. Jonni was an excellent musician, pianist, singer, dancer, and as it turns out, a great public speaker. And at the memorial for my dad, Em and Darren and I, we were, we had our speeches on paper like this, and Mom had hers on a small 3x5 card, and she just had a few points on it actually, and so we were actually wondering if she was going to be okay even doing a speech, but we didn't need to worry because she started into it. She had the card, and then all of a sudden just kind of threw it away and started talking about my dad with no notes or anything. It was a brilliant speech, and afterwards, people were coming up to her and saying, geez, you're a fantastic speaker, Jonni. Nobody ever knew this. And she said, well, that's because nobody ever gave me a chance. Yeah, she was overshadowed by you-know-who, but she was perfectly happy to be home, supporting the family, supporting Les and her kids. Anyway, my mom has taught and given us so much, and we take these things with us and hopefully pass them on to our loved ones. So, Mom, you really don't know how much you'll be missed, but our loss is a gain for my dad and for Jennifer, who you are with now. Rest in peace, Mama. I love you.
That's a hard act to follow. Wait, you took my notes. No, it's not that one. This is for eyes that can't see. Slightly different. I have little writing because my eyes are so great. Because I'm so much younger than these guys. Can you do that again, Sarah? Okay. So I'd like to talk briefly about how Jacklyn Marshall Lye was a unique mom, because she really was. So I could cite so many examples, but I've decided on these few specific ones. When I was in grade 3 or 4, she was the mom who came to the first performance of our Glee Club at Broadview Public School. She heard how bad we were and put herself in the role of manager. She moved the few kids with terrible voices from the front row to the far back. She told us all to practice yelling loudly all day to get volume and projection practice. And she stood in front of us as a conductor during our performances. God. She held up big signs saying, "Smile!" and "Mouths wide open!" Like we're like 8 or whatever. And we suddenly became quite a bit better. No other moms volunteered like she did. She had her own unique way. At age 9, I started taking horseback riding lessons. Our mom shared my love of horses and decided to take lessons with me. There we were, 10 or 12 young kids and 10 or 12 like little kids and an almost 50-year-old mother astride our horses in the ring. And there was no way she was spending the money on 2 compulsory riding hats. You know, the helmet, think of the Olympic equestrian riders' hats. They're classy with black velvet around, they're riders' hats. Quite classy. So I got one, but she wore a white construction helmet. Okay, and I actually think it came from Willie Dunn. I remember that. It was around the house for ages, like a white, anyway. Yeah, so it's perfect. It offers exactly the same protection was her reasoning. So there we were in there. No other mothers were in that ring. She was unique. Skip ahead 3 or 4 years, and our dad became involved in a promotional event for the Nickelodeon network, where his show, You Can't Do That on Television, was featured. He met Alan Thicke there, and the two soon discovered that they both had a diabetic child. Thicke mentioned that he was an active fundraiser with the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation and urged our dad to get involved as well. When Les told our mom about it, she took the reins. There was no JDRF chapter in Ottawa, so she finagled a free office in the Verrett building down on Slater Street. She started organizing fundraising drives and was suddenly the founding president. She introduced a huge yearly raffle for a Rolls Royce that brought in countless, hundreds of thousands of dollars towards type 1 diabetes research. She was a middle-aged female face on the board, surrounded by men. Very few mothers were involved at that time. So that was our unique mom. Finally, as a teenager, I constantly heard from friends that our mom was so different. My mother does not do that. On Gainsborough Avenue, we had our record player and tape deck in the living room where my friends and I would listen to our music. My favorite songs were orchestrated pop music with horns, piano, strings, the stuff that, it turned out, our mom loved too. I would put on Supertramp's Breakfast in America, or ABBA's Money, 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 Krista Berg's Patricia the Stripper, the Beatles' Martha, My Dear, among others, or Queen's Good Company. And look out, Mom would suddenly appear from wherever she had been and dance around the big room for a long time. I was never embarrassed by my mom, never. She did her own thing with such conviction that even young kids could appreciate it. Our unique mom at 617 Gainsborough Avenue. I do hope that this trait of parental uniqueness has rubbed off on us 3 children of Jonni. Daralyn's kids, Brett's kids, and my own kids would be the ones who would know this. What a wonderful trait to inherit. To dance, to horseback ride, to insist on smiles, to work hard for a cause. Jonni Lye was one of a kind, and she was remarkable. And was going to say, if there's anybody that would like to say anything at all, please feel free. Oh, Joshy Balls. Joshy. My son, Josh. Joshy.
Testing, okay. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Josh Dunn, and I'm the eldest. I'm the number 1. Numero uno. Grandson. Ben, you're wherever you are, Ben. Number 1. Number 1. Also known as Joszy Balls. For some of you might know that. Others, not a big deal. And we are here to celebrate the guest of honor, Jacklyn Lye, aka Grandma. Grandma was somebody like no other. Somebody who loved a good discussion, and someone who, even though many may have been wrong, was always right. Memories of Grandma, yes, there are too many to discuss here, but I'll talk about a couple of them. I spent a great deal of my youth with her and my grandfather at Gainsborough, and later on in Canada, my second home. Here are a couple of quick points. On Gainsborough, I would go over and look after their house Well, they would go to Dunedin, Florida, in the winter when they watch baseball. And it was pretty easy. We lived fairly close, so I'd go over and they'd give me some money. Grandma would give me the money and say, buy some groceries and look after the house and just make sure everything's okay, bring the mail and so forth. And I remember specifically her saying, and one other thing, I don't want you to have any women over at the house, any girls. I was 18 at the time, so girls at the house. And she stopped, and then she walked away, she stopped, she turned around, she said, what the hell do I care? They're not my kids. Thank you. Thank you very much. I guess, I mean, there are a few more. She went to Bayshore once with someone, and I'm not sure if it was with Emily or my mother or who it was with. And she stood at the counter. She said, I like that. That looks really nice. And she picked it up. She started spraying herself. Can't really feel it. It would have been a lovely, lovely perfume, except it was lotion. And without knowing, she had sprayed the entire scarf down her. Quickly, I think she got herself out of that very quickly. And she also managed to get in the wrong car while being at Carlingwood. And what I mean is she got out one day, went to go to the car, and she had been driven there by my grandfather. And she opened up the door. Okay, Les, we've got to get going now. We've got to go. And she shut the door. And she turned, and the gentleman wasn't Les. He was a nice enough gentleman. I didn't freak out in any way, shape, or form. But, little things like that. We used to go to baseball games at Ottawa Link Stadium. And she had season tickets with my grandfather. And she really, really, really hated nicotine. And she hated smoking, which is kind of funny. But she was one of the people who actually got smoking banned from the outdoor ban from the stadium after insisting over and over that it really wasn't something she wanted to be a part of, or that anybody else should be a part of it in the stands. For the family and friends, I have two words, moo-moo. And we would go over, Ben, Zach, and I, mainly more Ben and I, and for sleepovers. And when my grandfather was not there, or if he was working late, the normal plan was we would go to bed and he would read us a story. And there were various stories, there were various characters, and and it was incredible, the imagination and so forth. When he wasn't there, it was one story, maybe two stories, the same characters, and the exact same premise every single time. So it was like Lassie, but it was Spot the dog. I mean, I've seen her do things like, we get back to Gainsborough, get out of the car, and she leaves the car in neutral and it goes flying down the driveway backwards. I think I was a teenager, so my first instinct was stupidly try and stop it, which she quickly grabbed me and threw me out of the way. I'll a few more points and then I'll get away and let someone else or whoever else wants to speak. But she would always say, she would always like to have guests over. She had people at the house. She would like them to stay, family and friends and so forth. She would say, guests are like fish. After a few days, they start to stink. One of the greatest things I did over the certain amount of years was to make Christmas plays with the family. What I mean by Christmas play was write a story, Christmas story, and have the whole family act it out. And Grandpa was great. Les was great. He would, first, and we had friends and family that got involved.
Eric Petzold.
Eric Petzold, yeah.
She started.
Yeah, I have that. Couple bucks and.
Oh no, unbelievable.
But Grandma was looking back, Grandma was fantastic as well, because she did the roles, and you would ask, she was always Mrs. Claus, or she was a psychic with a crystal ball, or she was, I mean, I could tell people, my friends at school afterwards, what'd you do for your Christmas vacation? Well, spend it with family. Oh, we also made these Christmas movies, and you did what? And they've lasted, they're still there, they're still in existence. But they're great. And the last thing I will say is, a couple of days ago, I managed to go over and visit with my grandmother. last weekend or the week before. And I did record some stories and some few things here and there. And so at some point I'll clean them up and have them so that everyone else can see them and enjoy. Thank you and have a good night.